Hi guys, this is Supriya and I'm here with another video on Core Java series, and today's topic is identifiers and operators in Java. So let's start. Now what are identifiers? Identifiers are any name given to any variable or any class or any method or an interface. Interface concept we will see in future video, so don't worry about that, but just understand that identifiers are the names. Okay, so actually identifiers, variables, class, methods, functions, these are some of the terminologies that we will be using as and when we will be writing the code in programming language. So I will not use the simple words like name or number. Instead, I'll be using the words like identifiers instead of name, or integer value instead of a number, or a literal. Okay, so these are some of the terminologies that you need to understand. Like you and me have the name, and our name are our identities. So in Java, a variable name, class name, or any method name or interface name will have their identities, and they are called as the identifiers. So we will understand that with the help of some examples. So I have opened the Eclipse, and I have this Java sessions project here, you can see, and under this project I have this source folder, and I have created a package Java basics. Okay, and I'll just right click on this package. I'll create a class here. Okay, and this is how you create a class, and I'll name this class as identifiers. Okay, and I'll just select this main method, which is the starting point of execution. I'll say finish. So if you can see that my package name is Java Basics. Okay, that's what we have created here. So this is also a name, and this is also the identifier. So Java Basics is the identifier. If you see this class identifiers that I have just created, this is the class name. Okay, so this is also the identifier. Okay, because this is a name of a class. This is the name of a method. Okay, main is a method. Okay, so this is the name of a method. So this is again an identifier. Now I'll just declare some of the variables. So if I write any variable like int val is equal to say 10, so here int is my data type, val will be my identifier. It's a variable name, so since it's a variable name, it's also called as the identifier. And 10 is the integer value, or the term that is used for this value is literal. Okay, so any value which is assigned to the variable is called as the literal in programming language. Okay, so this val or val is the variable name, and hence it is the identifier. And if I write anything like this, string, which is my data type, name is equal to say Supriya. Okay, so this string is my data type, and this is my variable name, string variable name, but this is also an identifier. And Supriya is a literal. Okay, because this is a value assigned to this variable, so this is a literal. Okay, and if I say boolean b val equals say false. Okay, always the boolean data types result is either true or false. Okay, so but this here, if you can see that this boolean variable name is bval, and this is also the identifier. Okay, we will see some of the examples, like float, say FVAL is equal to say 9.2 F, and this is the decimal value. So all floats data type should have decimal values. So this is the literal, and this is the identifier and the variable name. Okay, and let's see, if I say double dval equals 0.01, okay, this dval is the identifier. So all these you see over here, like the package name, the class name, the method name, and the variable names, these are the identifiers. Okay, now there are certain rules while defining the variable name. Now, what are those rules? We'll see one by one. So whenever you are writing any name, you cannot use spaces. Okay, so for example, let's say I have int, say employee number. Okay, so I cannot use the space between two words, employee and a number. Okay, you can, however, you can write like this. If you use the space here, it will show you the error. See, so this is one of the rules that you need to remember while giving the variable name or any method name or any class name. Okay, so you cannot use the spaces between two words. What you can use is either the special characters like dollars or underscore. So you can, if you want to separate these two words, then you can either use underscore like this is also fine, or you can use dollar. Okay, so this is a valid variable name or an identifier, but you cannot use the space between two words. Alright, and it can be alphanumeric, but should not start with the integer. So you can have say you can name it like just a moment, employee number 1. Okay, this is fine because this is alphanumeric, this is a number, and these are all the alphabets. But you cannot start the variable name with the number. Okay, so this will give you the error. See, alright, so you can use a number, but you can use it in between or at the end, but you cannot start the variable name with the number. Okay, so this is rule number 3. And you cannot use the keywords as the identifiers. So if you remember, we have the list of keywords. Okay, just a moment, I'll show you the list of keywords. Okay, so these are the list of keywords. What are keywords? They are the reserved words that has some meaning in Java library. Okay, so we cannot use these list of keywords. There are 50 keywords in Java library. I just forgot to mention that in that keywords session. There are 50 keywords in Java library. So you cannot use these keywords as the identifier, or while giving the name of a class or a variable or the method, you cannot use the keywords. And so if you will try to use any keyword, say I'll try to use byte or public here, okay, instead of this. So let's see what it says. So if I say byte, it will show you the error because it's a keyword and you cannot use that. Remember I told you the example of Mr. and Mrs. That's the universally accepted keywords, abbreviations, and you don't use it anywhere. It's not that you cannot use it, but you don't use it because they are the universally accepted keywords, okay, reserved words. Uh, so in the same way, the keywords in the Java library cannot be used as the identifier. And I just give back that name. Yeah. Okay, so these are some of the rules or all the rules related to identifiers that you have to keep in mind while you are naming any class, method, or any variable. Now, what is the nomenclature or the standard naming convention we need to follow while declaring the identifiers? Okay, so while you are naming the variables, and if there are two words, so we have seen that we cannot use the spaces, and it if you want it can be alphanumeric, but it should not start with the number. Okay, however you can use the dollar special character or underscore. Okay, and so let's use these, keeping all these rules in mind. Let's declare some variables. So I have already done that, but let's see if I'm using two words instead of single word. Okay, if I'm saying employee, say age. Okay, so there are different words, employee and age, so there is a space which I cannot do that. So there is a nomenclature that we need to follow. So if it is like written like this, then it makes sense. So first letter is in small of the first word, and the second word's first letter is capital. Okay, if you write like this, it makes some sense and you can understand two words, you can differentiate two words. However, if you write like this, it's no problem, it will still accept, but it's a better practice to start a letter with a small letter, and another word should start from the capital letter. So while you are declaring the variable, okay, so that's a better practice. Okay, and while declaring the class, okay, it should always starts from the capital letter. Okay, so if it is employee, say here I have used the capital letter I while naming the class as identifiers. So if you just keep it small, then it will show you the error. Okay, so this is the nomenclature or the standard naming convention you need to follow. The class name should always start from capital letters. And if there are two words, you can definitely give two words also, like employee details are two words here. So I have used the capital letter E for employee and capital letter D for details. So that makes sense, and this is the nomenclature that you need to follow for while naming the class. Now, if you are writing any method, so method is always written like this. It should have the opening and closing parenthesis, and this is how you name a method with this. The first word, if you are using two words, then the first word should be the first letter should be in small, and for the second word, the first letter should be in caps. So that's a better practice, but there is no harm if you use the first word as capital and second word also capital, or second word also second letter of the second word also small. So there is no harm. Okay, but it's a better practice, and it two words gets differentiated easily. You can easily understand that, okay, this is employee and this is salary. Okay, so let me just write a method over here. So I'll say employee salary, and since it is a method, I'll use opening and closing parentheses. Okay, and I'll use opening and closing curly braces. So guys, you don't need to worry about how to create a method. We will have a separate session on creating a method and having the method body. So there is a big separate session on that. So don't worry about that. But for now, just understand the nomenclature of declaring a method or creating a method name. Okay. So when you are writing a method name, then if you have two words, it's just like the variables. You will start the first letter of the first word with a small letter, and the first letter of the second word as caps. And if you have three words, it should be, say, details. So the first letter of the third word should also be caps, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it doesn't matter how many words you have, but this is the nomenclature that you need to follow. Okay. This error that you're seeing is because we do not have the return type. So it's like we need to put void over here, and see the error has come. So we will be learning also about void in the upcoming video, so don't worry about that. Since this video is only about identifiers and the nomenclatures, I'm just sticking to these points. Okay, so this is how the nomenclature is all about. So I'll just summarize everything. Identifiers are the names given to the variables, the classes, okay, or the method. Alright, and while you are naming any variable or a method, you need to, or any class, you need to follow these rules, okay, and you need to follow some nomenclature. Like if you are naming a variable, and if it is a single word anywhere, like class, variable, or method name anywhere, then it's fine. Okay, it's just that you have to remember that the class name should always start from the capital letter, and if there are two words, then the first, if it is a variable, and if there are two words, then the first letter should start from a small letter, and the second word's first letter should be a caps, and the same is a rule is applicable for the method name as well. And for the class, the first letter should be a capital letter. Okay, and if you have two words in a class or three words in a class, the first letter should always be a capital letter, and so on and so forth. So this is all about the nomenclature for identifiers. Guys, if you like my video, you just need to click a like button and send feedback to me in the comments text box. Alright, and my next video would be on the operators in Java. So till then, you have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye.